at the end of every rainbow, then you belong to the stage of the step.
Welcome to Into the Vault, the movie review series where I dive into the good, the bad, and the bizarre corners of the Disney film empire, one randomly chosen title at a time. And this time, the randomizer drops something truly, shall we say, magically confusing. The Luck of the Irish. Yes, that one. The movie where your average high school basketball player wakes up one morning to discover he's turning into a leprechaun, because apparently that was Disney Channel's idea of compelling teen drama in 2001. Premiering on March 9, 2001, The Luck of the Irish was directed by Paul Hoen. He has been directing some Disney Channel original movies that are currently airing today that have become fans' favorites, the zombie movies. The Luck of the Irish aired as part of Disney Channel's original St. Patrick's Day lineup. On its debut, it was the highest rated Disney Channel original movie. It stars Ryan Merriman, who at this point had already established himself as a DCOM veteran thanks to Smart House. This movie was part of the golden era of DCOMs, right alongside hits like The 13th Year, Brink, and Motocrossed. And while The Luck of the Irish didn't reach cult favorite status like some of its peers, it definitely left an impression, especially on kids who suddenly thought their ancestry might involve cursed coins and step dancing duels. No major awards were won unless you count being permanently etched into the memory of every 2000s kid who wondered, wait, am I turning into a leprechaun? So what is it actually about? In Disney Channel's 2001 original movie, The Luck of the Irish, high school student Kyle Johnson has seemingly perfect life. He's popular, successful, and remarkably lucky. But when his lucky gold coin disappears, strange things start to happen. Kyle begins to change physically and discovers that he's part leprechaun. As he uncovers his family's hidden heritage, he must fight to reclaim his luck and his identity. So let's dive in. The movie opens with a voiceover while showing different people from various backgrounds. It explains how everyone is unique, but the one thing we all have in common is heritage. While this heartfelt message plays, we immediately cut to a stereotypical Native American performing a dance. Next up in the school talent show is Kyle Johnson, played by Ryan Merriman, our main character. Except no one can find him. Why can't they find him? Because he's now the size of the pencil. The MC is about to step on him when Kyle suddenly wakes up. Woo, just a dream. Definitely some classic DCOM energy there. His mom tells him to get ready for the basketball game. Kyle casually tells his parents about his bizarre dream, and his dad, ever the comedic relief, brushes it off as a pre-game anxiety. He even shares that his anxiety dreams usually involve being in his underwear, but that was when he was in the band. Thanks for the image, Dad. Kyle wants to know where their family comes from, and his dad goes full vague mode. Right here, he says. Kyle presses further, asking about their heritage. His dad says, Cleveland. And then his mom doubles down with, We're Americans. That's all the heritage we need. Bold claim considering this whole movie is literally about heritage. They tell him to get moving and not to forget his lucky coin. As Kyle walks off, the voiceover kicks in again. He's suspicious that his parents are hiding something from him. The big game turns out to be the state basketball playoffs, and it's the first time Kyle's school has made it. And of course, Kyle wins it for them with a very non realistic move that looks like a basketball dodgeball hybrid. He doesn't just shoot the ball, he dives and kind of flicks it upward in slow motion, and nothing but net. The next day at school, Kyle's living the high life. Everyone cheers him, and he's suddenly the teen heartthrob. He loves the attention, especially from the girls. At his locker, we meet Bonnie, a hyper-involved overachiever who runs every club. She tells him she needs to know what he's doing for Heritage Day. Kyle's friend Russell jokes that Bonnie's on every committee, probably even the ones the school doesn't know about. Kyle plays the classic jock archetype here. He declares history is so 10 minutes ago and says people should care about sports instead. Bonnie claps back by calling him a mindless jock, which, fair. Kyle deflects by pretending he has to rush off to a test. We see him in a class taking that test, or more accurately, staring at it blankly. When the bell rings, he circles answers quickly and turns it in. His teacher tells him that he is actually better off guessing because he subtracts points for wrong answers. That sounds horrible. Two girls walk by and drop a petty summer school burn. But surprise, his answers are all actually correct. The teacher is confused. Kyle chalks it up to luck. That night at dinner, Kyle still hung up on his family history. His mom is making what appears to be the largest salad known to man for just 3 people. Kyle wonders aloud if athleticism runs in the family. His parents continue to dodge the question like it's an Olympic event. Their facial expressions are so exaggerated, it feels like we're watching robots trying to simulate awkward humans. Kyle says that Bonnie keeps pressing him about his heritage, and he insists they can't just be from Cleveland. He even throws in the line, unless we're Indians, which was still common vernacular in the early 2000s, and that quote has not aged well. Still suspicious, Kyle hits the school computer lab the next day and he starts researching his family. Cue the nostalgia. Those translucent colored iMacs with the built-in handles, a time when Apple actually had fun colors. Bonnie catches him mid-search and gives him a scathing early 2000s insult. If you're looking for sports trivia, try gofindalife.com. Brutal. Kyle finds out that searching Johnson yields about 4 million unhelpful results. Bonnie suggests he tried digging into his mom's side too. Half of his DNA did come from her. Back home, Kyle starts snooping through his parents' stuff. He finds a yearbook with no mention of his dad and a birth certificate that lists his name as Robert Smith instead of Bob Johnson. Man, that seems suspicious. His mom sees him snooping around, but he tries to play it cool. Outside, Kyle shoots hoops with his best friend Russell and wonders why his dad would change his name. Russell has a perfectly reasonable theory: FBI witness protection. Kyle jumps and touches the rim, which amazes Russell, who says Kyle is the luckiest kid in school. Kyle shrugs it off as just the charm his mom gave him. Then, because why not, he finds $10 lying in the street. They see a flyer for Seamus McTiernan, an Irish step dancer, and Kyle notices the same symbol from his coin on the flyer. He thought the coin was Chinese. Russell tells him Seamus is Irish. Kyle finally starts putting the pieces together. He has a light bulb moment. Maybe his mom is Irish. Naturally, they head to an Irish heritage festival where someone literally greets them with, "Top of the morning to ya." This festival is so over the top, green and shamrocks are everywhere. Kyle's puzzled why his mom would hide being Irish. At a vendor booth, he sees fake coins that look like his, but his is the real deal. It's solid gold. A mysterious old man appears, praises Kyle's shoes, claims he's made his own with the real Irish leather, and does a weird coin trick where he throws the coins into the air and they all stack perfectly. Then he disappears quickly as he showed up. Suddenly, it's showtime. Seamus McTiernan, Saint of the Step, played by Timothy Munson, takes the stage. He starts dancing, and yes, the man can move. The production value here is actually decent, but it's clear they used a body double for any full body shots. Most of the time, you just see Seamus from behind, or just his legs, or top half. Kyle begins dancing perfectly along with the routine, completely in sync. He's shocked, Russell is amazed, Kyle says he can't help it. When it ends, he literally falls over and one of the workers creepily helps him up. The next morning, Kyle wakes up and immediately knocks a trophy onto his foot. Something feels off. His mom is in the kitchen, but now with curlier, redder hair and a full Irish accent. She serves him a traditional Irish breakfast, complete with blood sausage. Kyle's also talking with a bit of brogue now. Things are getting weird. Kyle vents to Russell about how strange his mom is acting, then the worst day of his life begins. He loses money down a sewer, gets soaked by a puddle, spills his backpack, and gets hit by a water fountain stream and looks like he wet himself. At basketball practice, Kyle can't make a single foul shot. Everyone else finishes while he keeps missing. Bonnie appears once again asking what he's doing for Heritage Day. He jokes that maybe he'll learn an Irish dance. Bonnie calls him out, saying everything comes too easy for him. Until now. That night during the game, Kyle is a disaster. He drops the ball, misses shots, and is literally booed by the crowd. It's bad. His dad tries to cheer him up by pointing out that at least his team still won. Silver lining, I guess. The next morning, Kyle wakes up and realizes his dresser is taller and his pants are dragging. Oh, and he smells something burning in the kitchen. His mom has started a peat fire and has filled the house with smoke. On the way to school, Russell confirms Kyle is shorter. Also at school, everyone is either mocking him or ignoring him. In science class, the lesson is about magnets. Convenient. Kyle's charm sticks to the magnet. Russell says, I thought you said that was real gold. Cue dramatic realization his coin is a fake. Kyle panics and tells Russell that he has to talk to his mom. Bonnie interrupts, and as Kyle gets more stressed, he pulls off his hat, revealing bright red hair. Then he tries to ditch school, but Russell warns him he won't be able to play in the championship if he does. Kyle goes home and finds his mom, now about a foot tall. Dad says they need to talk. That's when Mom drops the bomb. She is a leprechaun. Turns out the family's magical luck depends on the coin, and Kyle's is missing. Mom says the man at the festival was Kyle's grandfather, and she suspects he stole it. Time to go confront Grandpa. They head to the Emerald Isle potato chip factory, which is owned by Kyle's grandfather, Riley O'Reilly. Bob tells Kate to stay in the car because, well, at 12 inches tall, she might cause a stir. Kate, ever the strong-willed leprechaun mom, does not love this. As they approach the factory gates, Kate's dad admits the hard truth. Riley disowned his daughter when she married a non-leprechaun. That's why they had to leave Cleveland and start fresh. Bob even changed his name from Robert Smith to Bob Johnson to stay hidden. It's a sad, awkward moment and one of the rare times the movie tackles a genuinely heavy theme: rejection from family over heritage. They try to enter the factory, but the security guard at the front desk is having none of it. She says Riley doesn't have a daughter and insists they leave. When they push back, things escalate quickly. Security literally throws them out like they are bodily ejected from the building. That escalated fast. But as luck would have it, a school tour bus pulls up at the same time, and who's leading the group? None other than Bonnie with her Young Achievers Club. Kyle seizes the opportunity and blends in with the student group, throwing on a visitor badge and trying to act like he belongs. Inside the potato chip factory is bustling. Giant crates of snacks, tour guides explaining the science of chip frying, and Bonnie giving major side eye to Kyle for sneaking in. She corners him and demands to know what's going on. Kyle gives her the ultra condensed version. Basically, my heritage is complicated. I think my grandfather stole something important and I need your help. He also accidentally says he's a leprechaun, and Bonnie just seems to roll with it. Before Bonnie can get more answers, a security guard sees them on the camera and sounds the alarm. Yes, for two kids sneaking into a potato chip plant, full on security lockdown. Red lights flashing, sirens blaring. It's the most dramatic snack related crisis since McDonald's got rid of the snack wrap. Bonnie and Kyle take off running. The chase through the factory gives off serious Scooby Doo energy. Dodging chip crates, narrowly missing workers, and yes, hopping onto a golf cart for a getaway. As they race through the plant, a security guard grabs at them monster movie style, but they eventually crash into a mountain of potato chip boxes. Covered in chips and adrenaline, Kyle scrambles up a ladder to get away, but the guard yanks his leg. Kyle slips and tumbles into a chute. For a moment, it looks like he might be heading to a fiery doom. Honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if the movie just ended here in an oddly dark twist. But instead, the movie must go on. Kyle lands in a soft pile of discarded chip bags, right in front of his grandfather, Riley O'Reilly himself. He's sitting there like he expected this because, of course he did. He's a leprechaun. A fun fact is the actor who plays Riley, Harry Gibson, is no stranger to being a leprechaun. He also played one in a 1970 episode of Bewitched. Bonnie follows down the chute and finds Kyle with the magical old man. It's awkward. He wants answers. Kyle's ready to burst. He demands to know if Riley stole his coin. He says if the coin really is missing, then the whole O'Reilly clan is in danger. Without their luck, the magic that's protected the family for generations could unravel. Riley accuses Kate, Kyle's mom, of taking the coin and framing him. Kyle, caught in the middle of his family drama, is understandably overwhelmed. Bonnie, still somehow rolling with everything, suggests going to the police. Kyle nixes that idea. How do you explain to the cops that your leprechaun powers are fading because of a stolen magic coin? Riley starts playing a flute, which apparently is how he processes emotional turmoil. Bonnie asks if he has to do that, and Riley responds, "Of course I do. I'm Irish. That's how I manifest despair." Great line. As Riley plays, Kyle starts dancing uncomfortably, feet moving like they have a mind of their own. The music stops. Kyle, panting, says, "I'm not Irish. I'm American." But it's clear he's somewhere in between, struggling with identity in a way more nuanced than the movie usually gives credit for. That's when they all realize who might have actually taken the coin: Seamus McTiernan. Riley calls him a Far Darrig, which in Irish folklore translates to red man. These mischievous beings are known to be tricksters, evil leprechauns who love to mess with people and steal magical items. Kyle now believes Seamus is the real thief, and they need to confront him. His mom shows up and sees Riley again for the first time in years. Old wounds open, she's angry, he's defensive, but Kyle pulls them together with a speech that, while simple, has heart. He tells them to let the past go so they can fight for their family's future. With that, the group, Kyle, Riley, Bonnie, Kate, and Bob, decide to track down Seamus. The adventure kicks into high gear and the real magic begins. On the road, they pick up Russell, who decided the safest way to flag them down is by casually stepping into traffic. Because why use a sidewalk when you can almost cause a magical leprechaun related fender bender? He sees Kyle's now pointy ears and finally reacts the way that any normal person should by freaking out. It's refreshingly appropriate, especially compared to Bonnie's disturbingly calm reaction earlier. They reach Seamus's RV, parked like the villain's mobile lair that it is. Bob, who apparently watched one Mission Impossible movie, tries to sneak a peek inside. He gets about 2 seconds into the recon before Seamus catches him red-handed. No stealth mode here. Seamus doesn't waste time. He jumps in the RV and speeds off like a getaway driver at the end of a heist. The crew hops back into the convertible to give chase. It's like a weird mashup of Fast and the Furious Leprechaun Drift. But just as they're catching up, Seamus's cronies lob a pile of corned beef and cabbage onto the convertible. Because apparently in this universe, traditional Irish cuisine doubles as effective road hazard. It works, the car swerves, a tire pops, and they're stuck. Cue the blame game as it starts to downpour. Everyone's wet, frustrated, and tired of the leprechaun drama. But Bonnie, who's clearly had enough of the bickering, pulls out her inner Coach Carter and delivers a rousing, very Disney pep talk. She reminds them that when the Irish immigrants first came to America, they faced discrimination, hardship, and ridicule. But they didn't give up. Neither should this group. It's patriotic, it's earnest, and because this is a Disney movie, the clouds part and the rain stops immediately after she finishes. Just then, Russell spots a rainbow in the distance. Riley, now re energized by the magic, takes off running towards it like it's a finish line at the Boston Marathon. Russell, still clinging to science, tries to explain that rainbows are just refracted light and not something you can physically reach. Riley responds with the ultimate mic drop: "I'm a leprechaun. Don't tell me about rainbows." Fair. Following the rainbow, they stumble across Seamus's RV parked near a pub. Inside, Seamus and his gang are loudly singing traditional Irish folk songs, because why wouldn't they? Meanwhile, Kyle and Riley sneak into the RV with a little magical assistance. Riley unlocks the safe, which is full of gold coins. Kyle sifts through the treasure until he finds his coin. He doesn't need to test or analyze it, he just knows. Riley, ever the opportunist, suggests they take all the coins. Kyle, showing he's grown a bit over the past few days, says no, they're not thieves. They came for what's theirs and nothing more. Before they can escape, the wind howls, lights flicker, and evil breeze, because yes, that's a thing now, swirls around them. Jameis materializes in the chaos, grabs both Riley and Russell, and holds them hostage. He demands Kyle hand over the coin or else. Kyle, thinking fast, remembers what Riley told him about the Far Darrig never backing down from a bet. He challenges Seamus to a contest. If Seamus wins, he gets the coin, but if Kyle wins, he keeps it and gets his family back. Kyle says that they will compete in sports. Suddenly, it's nighttime and everyone is dressed in traditional Irish garb. Don't ask how. Disney logic. We enter the Tall Teen Games, a gauntlet of bizarre ancient sports. First up, hurling, not to be confused with vomiting. This involves hitting a small ball through a goalpost using a wooden stick. Kyle nails it. Then comes stone throwing. Seamus wins by hurling a massive boulder like it's a beach ball. Kyle can barely lift his. Then there's chariot wheel tossing. Yes, that's apparently a sport. Seamus dominates again. Wrestling, Seamus throws Kyle around like a rag doll, but then they switch to kicking a ball through a post and Kyle evens the score. They're neck and neck. The final event? Dancing. Seamus river dances like his life depends on it, but Kyle counters with breakdancing because if you're gonna blend Irish pride with American identity, there's no better way than popping and locking in a kilt. With the game tied, Seamus smugly demands the coin because he only had to give it to Kyle if Kyle won. But Kyle proposes one last bet. Winner takes all, a basketball game. We snap to the school gym. It's the championship game, and somehow Seamus and his cronies are now the opposing team. As the game unfolds, it's clear Kyle is still unsure of himself. Riley, who is now visible only to Kyle and Russell, tosses a fake coin to Russell for luck. It works, not because it's actually magic, but because Russell believes in himself, and Russell believes it's magical, so it boosts his confidence. Meanwhile, Kyle finally understands the real lesson. The coin was never his source of luck, it was just a crutch. His skill, heart, and determination were there all along. Man, that sounds like every Disney movie ever. In the final second, Kyle pretends to take the winning shot, but instead passes the ball to Russell, who sinks it at the buzzer. Game, set, championship. Suddenly, the crowd vanishes. It's just Seamus, Kyle, their friends, and family. Seamus, realizing he's lost, assumes he's been banished to the shores of Ayr. Kyle smirks and corrects him. No, not Ear. Erie, as in Lake Erie. Cleveland, baby. Defeated and humiliated, Seamus starts shrinking. He squeals in rage as he spirals away, landing with a splash into Lake Erie. Bye bye, evil leprechaun. Kyle gets his coin back, his family's luck is restored, and the world makes sense again. The crowd reappears, the school celebrates, and Russell finally gets to be the hero too. Afterward, Riley surprises Bonnie with the news that she's been considered for a full college scholarship. Her dad shows up proud but shocked and agrees to let her follow her own dreams. Turns out she wants to play basketball. Finally, at the school heritage festival, Kyle takes the stage in a Cleveland Browns shirt, blending his Irish roots with his American pride. He performs an Irish folk dance, looking like he's finally comfortable in his own skin. Then, because why not, the entire cast sings, "This Land is Your Land." It's cheesy, it's random, but somehow it fits. A story about identity, unity, and one very chaotic week of magical puberty, all wrapped up in a group sing along. So, what did I think? The Luck of the Irish is charming, cheesy, and very early 2000s in the best and worst ways. The film leans heavily into the familiar Disney Channel original movie formula, awkward family secrets, magical realism, and one seriously convoluted climax, but it somehow works. Kyle is a solid lead. He starts off a little cocky, a little clueless, but his journey to understand his heritage and where he fits in is surprisingly heartfelt. You do end up rooting for him, even as he fumbles through Irish mythology and rapid physical changes like he's in a magical puberty boot camp. Grandpa Riley, easily the MVP. He steals every scene he's in, delivering both comic relief and genuine emotional weight. The actor playing him clearly knew the assignment and brought just enough eccentricity to make the leprechaun lore feel grounded. Bonnie and Russell round out the trio nicely. Bonnie starts off a bit insufferable, but she softens quickly, even if her transition from annoyed academic to leprechaun fighting sidekick is a bit abrupt. Russell plays the loyal best friend trope well, though he gets a little lost in the second half of the film. Seamus, our villain, is delightfully sinister in an over the top kind of way, but we don't see nearly enough of him. He shows up early, disappears, and then makes a dramatic comeback like he's been lurking in the shadows of a step dance studio this whole time. The biggest issue is pacing. The first half plays like a teen sports movie, and the second half feels like Irish Percy Jackson. There's a lot crammed into a short runtime and a few plot threads, like Kyle's growing friendship with Bonnie or the fallout with his parents, could have used a bit more breathing room. Still, the movie has heart and nostalgia, and a musical number at the end makes no sense but somehow still works. It may not be high cinema, but for a DCOM, it's more than serviceable. It's weird, fun, and full of accidental charm. It's also one of those rare Disney Channel movies that attempts to say something about identity, culture, and belonging, even if it gets lost in the sea of leprechaun cliches and janky CGI. It swings big, and while it doesn't always hit, you've got to admire the effort. So, what did the random picker land on next? Out of over 1,000 titles, we got RocketMan from 1997. No, not the Elton John one, the other RocketMan. The one where Harland Williams accidentally becomes America's last hope to colonize Mars. It's got farts in space, a chimp sidekick, and some of the strangest NASA protocol you'll ever see. Buckle up because this one is zero gravity absurdity at its finest. This has been Into the Vault. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe triple check your ancestry before your next basketball game. See you next time when we open the vault.